Syracuse side, as well as Skylar McCarthy on her team.
Getting ready for opening draw for the 2020 season for both Syracuse and Canisius. It's Emily Harris-Chuck and Briar Cummings at the draw control circle for the Orange and the Golden Griffins. Ball pops up into the air. This is going to be a crucial spot for Syracuse, and Harris-Chuck does well to win the first draw.
This was an area Gate was hoping to see improvement from Harris-Chuck, and right off the bat, she grabs the first one.
Megan Tyrell, Morgan Alexander, and Megan Carney will join Harris-Chuck on the starting attack line. A very potent offense that returns 83% of the goals from a year ago.
6 of their top 7 scorers are back. The only one notably gone, Nicole Levy. So look to see who else, especially Morgan Alexander, can step up in her place.
Alexander, of course, a year ago, came back for the first time in 3 years to play collegiate lacrosse after a couple of knee injuries, but she had an excellent season, and she's going to get going early in this game. Right now, Megan Carney controls behind cage for the Orange. Had 20 points at Worlds this summer on the U.S. U19 team. Orange rotate around the perimeter. Sam Swart feeds and puts it in. Megan Tyrell with the first goal of the season for the Orange. The sophomore out of Mount Sinai, New York, and Syracuse has a 1-0 lead.
Beautiful passing there from the Orange offense, just getting it around to everyone, and then Swart sees her shot with Tyrell camped out right atop the crease, and then it's an easy feed in past Lauren Gilbert.
Tyrell, the number 6 overall recruit a season ago, the number 2 recruiting class in the country for Syracuse, and it's almost like they just rebuild and reload. They've got, again, the number 9 recruiting class in the country this season for Gary Gate.
And a lot of star players to look forward to. Bianca Chevrolet, as we just mentioned, coming off of the U19 Canadian team performance. Emma Tyrell, one to look out for as well, the younger sister of Megan.
Megan Tyrell, the first goal of the day, sophomore out of Mount Sinai. And now back to the draw control circle go Briar Cummings and Emily Harris-Chuck. Harris-Chuck won the first draw. Hot start for Syracuse, less than a minute in here inside the dome. And again, an easy win for Harris-Chuck.
It almost seems like Coach Gate was hoping to mold Emily Harris-Chuck and kind of the player that Kayla Trainer was, where she got it done a ton on the offensive end, but also dominated on the draw. And so far, she succeeded on the first 2.
Kayla Trainer, the all-time leading goal scorer in program history. Emily Harris-Chuck coming into her senior season at number 7 with 166 career goals after 75, a team high a season ago as a first-team All-American. She's back on that preseason All-American list this year. Still hasn't gotten a touch on the offensive end, but Syracuse a 1-0 lead. Here's a touch inside for Mary Rahal, and she finds the back of the net. 5th-year senior Rahal, and the second assist for Sam Swart. Excellent ball movement. Syracuse up 2-0.
Syracuse has to expect that they're going to try to shut down Emily Harris-Chuck, so it's all going to be about getting other players involved. And that one, a beautiful feed from Swart. Her second assist now in the game. This one to Rahal, who flops to the ground but still managed to put it into the back of the cage.
Sam Swart, the junior out of Coopersburg, Pennsylvania, the assist. Mary Rahal, the redshirt senior out of Queensbury, New York, with the goal. But I want to talk about Swart real quick. She's known as a goal scorer, excellent goal scorer, 30-plus goals in her first 2 seasons in Orange. Only 6 assists last year. She's already got a third of that, and we're less than 2 minutes in.
Looking for those midfielders up top to be your passer and your scorer is really important. And I think with the maturity that comes, as now she's a junior, eclipsed that upperclassman rank, she'll be ready to step up as more of a passer, not just looking to go to cage.
Syracuse dominant thus far. They've got 2 goals, and they've also won the first 2 draws of the game. Emily Harris-Chuck back out. Ball pops into the air, and a violation goes against Canisius. Syracuse gets it. Here's Swart with the 2 assists. Already, she scored 30-plus goals a season ago, as well as she did that as a freshman. Sierra Cockrell, who really didn't see a ton of playing time as a true freshman last year, took some big steps in the offseason, and she's now in the starting lineup for Gary Gate and company.
She quietly inched her way into 18 games last season, but only put up 9 goals, and Gate saw something in her that expects her to play a bigger role this year.
Cockrell feeds Swart with the first save of the day for the CNS product, Lauren Gilbert, in net for Canisius. But a turnover from the Golden Griffins, and Megan Carney picks it up.
Syracuse applied high pressure there behind the cage on the player that picked up the ball, and she just got frazzled, and that's how she was able to turn it over in the double team.
First good look at Harris-Chuck, and she finds the back of the net. She might just be the towards on front runner, and she's on the board early. 3-0 Syracuse.
She did a great job lowering her shoulder into her defender, turning a corner, and then just firing it into the back top shelf. Beautiful play right there, and just didn't even need a full follow through. That shows you there wasn't even too much power on that shot. All about the placement as she was able to drive into that middle lane.
61 points a year ago. All ACC first team. She practiced with the senior national team. She is an up-and-coming rising star if she already isn't one in women's lacrosse.
She was one of the few current seniors to get the chance to play with the U.S. national team in the Fall Classic. And especially for her, Kayla Trainer is one of her biggest role models in the lacrosse world. So being able to play alongside her certainly must have been something special.
She's got a goal. She's 3 for 3 on draws, trying to make it 4 for 4. And she picks it up. Vanessa Costantino helps for the win for the Orange. Seen 3 different goal scorers so far for Syracuse. Megan Tyrell got things going, then Mary Rahal and Emily Harris-Chuck on the unassisted goal.
Through Syracuse's first couple games last season and even in prior season as well, it's been all about as many people involved early as possible. And that's something that we're seeing early and expect to continue to be a trend in this game.
Second midfield line in for the Orange. Emma Tyrell, Megan's sister, has it at the top. Feeds doorstep to Megan, and she scores. Second goal of the day for the sophomore, and it's 4-0 Orange, less than 4 minutes in.
Syracuse utilized a lot of fast passes right there. The ball just really never stopped moving between sticks, and then Megan Tyrell left wide open down there on the crease. That's something this Canisius defense just can't do, and they're just going to need to be able to shift and slide faster, especially if they're going to want to apply high pressure early.
I think Megan Tyrell likes playing on opening day. Her first career game for Syracuse in the season opener against UConn last year, 2 goals, 3 assists, already 2 markers today for the sophomore.
And she's a player that you would certainly call a crease monkey, one of those players that likes to just hang around the crease, wait for her chance to get open, quick stick it on in. And that's what she's done for these first 2 goals. So it's something that Canisius should be expecting from her and hopefully can step up to address the rest of this game.
It all starts at the draw control circle, though. 4 draws thus far, all have been won by the Orange. It's the same matchup, no change for Canisius. They're trusting Briar Cummings out of CNS. First one that Canisius has a good chance at, but Carrie DeFleece, the defender, comes away with it for Syracuse. Here comes DeFleece, looking to do it herself, instead dumps it off. And we're going to get a shooting space violation against Canisius. Megan Carney draws the violation for the Orange.
Great hard fake there by Megan Carney. That's what got the call, is that even though she was certainly at a tough angle to score it, she faked hard, and that's what got her the free position.
First free position, she sails it wide right, but there to back it up is the fellow sophomore Megan Tyrell, who's already got 2 goals. Quick restart for the Orange. Tyrell again, and she's got a hat trick. Or does she? No, they call it off. Morgan Alexander thought she had the first 5-minute hat trick, but instead, Lauren Gilbert makes the save for Canisius, and the Golden Griffins finally have possession. First time we're seeing them on offense in this game. Skylar MacArthur, the sophomore out of Canada, clears it over, and the Golden Griffins go into their offense. First time we'll see Asa Goldstock tested, the senior goalkeeper, out in front, and the goal for Canisius. It's Miranda Melvaso, one of the triplets on this team from Jordan Elbridge. First shot, first goal of the season for Miranda.
So right there, she's left far too open in the middle of that 8-meter fan, and you can't do that with a player and leave your goalie hanging out to dry as they did right there. But honestly, a good sign for the Golden Griffins. Miranda Malvaso, one of the players that Coach Daly was looking for to step up and be a major point getter in this game, and so far, she's the lone goal for Canisius.
Miranda, one of the triplets, as we mentioned. She's the attack. Then in the midfield, you've got Marissa, and then their sister, the non-identical triplet, Tony plays defense for the Golden Griffins.
And something that she mentioned is all of them have phenomenal stick work, and you saw it in there. She was certainly open. It should have been an easy catch, but even if it hadn't, she handled the ball with a good fake and then put it past a tough goalie in Asa Goldstock.
First time we won't see Emily Harris-Truck at the draw control circle. Instead, it's the junior Morgan Widener. And Widener wins it easily. She was so dominant as a freshman, tore her ACL a couple of years ago. Now trying to get back into that dominant role. Speaking of dominance, Harris-Truck gets straight to the cage, and a penalty is called.
A charge called against Harris-Truck there. She looked like she was running in with a lot of speed and going for it, and that's kind of her style, but because so many Canisius players had collapsed on her, it turned into a charge call, now going the other way, giving Canisius the ball.
Harris-Truck, one of the 4 orange goals in the early going, just about 5 minutes in. Syracuse up 4-1, but Canisius the latest goal scorer.
Sarah Cooper calls the turnover there on the far sideline, and now Syracuse gets the ball back and working it down in transition.
Tyrell already with 2, and another shooting space violation, this time drawn by Harris-Truck. Second shooting space violation we've seen, and again, it's that good hard head fake from Emily Harris-Truck and the pump that gets her the free position opportunity. 0 for 1 so far today. Harris-Truck takes a rip, and it's saved by Gilbert. Big time save from the goalkeeper from just down the road in Cicero.
You can tell that this Canisius team has done an extensive scout on this Syracuse team, because shooting down low on the free position, a 1-2-3 step fire, is a classic Emily Harris-Truck free position move. And right there, Gilbert was there to stop it.
Carrie DeFleece, preseason All-American, picks off a pass, another cause turnover for the Orange. After giving up that first goal to Miranda Malvaso, they have really shut down on the last 2 possessions.
2 caused turnovers now for the Orange, not even allowing the Golden Griffins to get their offense set up and showing how dominant Syracuse is at every aspect of the game.
Second midfield line out there again, Emma Tyrell, Vanessa Costantino, and Kara Quimby in the game, along with the starting attack for the Orange. Rotated around the perimeter, here comes Costantino, the junior. Walled off and feeds Tyrell. Doorstep for Megan Tyrell. Almost a chance inside for Megan Carney. Can't quite come up with it. Finds the stick of Emily Harris-Truck, and she converts. Can't give her a point-blank look. Second goal of the game for Harris-Truck. It's 5-1.
Certainly a scrum for the ball right there. It could have been anyone's ground ball, and that's something that Canisius is going to need to win going forward, but it lands in the stick of Emily Harris-Truck and just put it in her placement of her choice, really.
She's just too good a finisher to go one-on-one with a goalkeeper. She's going to beat you 99% of the time.
And that's where this Golden Griffins team just needs that extra hustle, that extra moment of heart where you're like, I'm going to win every ground ball that's down there on the field. And that was a crucial one where now it's a mistake, and hopefully Canisius can correct that going forward.
Saw Morgan Widener win the last draw for Syracuse. She'll go back there again for the Orange. Was the main draw control specialist her freshman season. Sophomore year, she tears her ACL. Julie Cross becomes the main draw control specialist that year. Then it was a bit of an up and down third year for Morgan Widener last year when she was trying to work her way back from injury. Cross still got a lot of the draw controls, and then Emily Harris-Truck came on as the season progressed.
And it's been quite a varied draw control system, working a 3 or 4 man team. We'll still expect that this year. Coach Gay telling us that Harris-Truck will be the main draw taker, but Widener, as well as Braley Kempney, will also take turns inside the circle.
Widener's now 2 for 2. She picks it up for the Orange, who have a 4-goal lead less than 6 minutes in.
Widener actually won 14 draw controls against Canisius back in 2017, that during her stellar freshman season, and now she's already got 2.
First midfield unit back in with Cockrell and Mary Rahal, one of the goal scorers. Here comes Morgan Alexander. Cockrell feeds Swart with 2 assists, and she gets bumped from behind.
Looked like one of the Canisius defenders was just reaching a little too far. Paige Strachura there tipped off her stick and now gives Sam Swart a free position from the best hash right in that center.
Orange 0 for 2 on free positions. Make it 0 for 3. Another big save from Lauren Gilbert.
And this was a big reason why Coach Daly felt Gilbert was the clear-cut starter, is her ball-stopping ability, and being able to shut people down on free positions is crucial. And so far, she's done that. 0 for 3 for Syracuse.
Syracuse not particularly great on the free position last year, just 38%. Now a chance in front, but it rolls right into the big spoon of Asa Goldstock.
We haven't really been able to see Syracuse entirely set up its clear, starting from the goalie and moving forward. But right now, ball's just flying down the field. Easy peasy.
Quick tic-tac-toe passing. Carney scores! Megan Carney from the left doorstep. Preseason honorable mention All-American, and she's off to a good start. 5-goal lead for the Orange.
See, if you needed a textbook definition of what a transition goal looks like, what Syracuse just set up is simply that. Sam Swart running in, finds Carney down low enough, and that's what's always important on a clear, is that your attackers stay down deep, close to the crease, so that if they get the chance to be open, then they are. And that's exactly what worked right there, and Carney just a little pump fake and an easy in.
Carney delivers now 3 combined goals from the standout sophomores. Megan Carney and Megan Tyrell, Team Meg, with 3 of the 6 goals so far for the Orange. And keep in mind, too, we mentioned Sam Swart only 6 assists last year. She's got 3 assists in this game. She's already got half of them. We're less than 10 minutes in.
That maturity, that vision that comes with being able to see the college game better. We always saw her just kind of being a transition player, just being a scorer and kind of getting it done that way. Now it's her turn to take a step back, be a leader on this attacking unit for those sophomores, and make plays with them.
Canisius still yet to win a draw. Morgan Widener is 2 for 2 for the Orange. A little back tap. Sarah Cooper fights for it. Freshman of the year in the ACC a year ago, and she winds up winning it for Syracuse.
Sarah Cooper was second on the team in ground balls, and even though that one was kind of a gimme, expect to see her grabbing a lot more. Such a vacuum cleaner, as you should say, with those ground balls.
Carney scores the last goal, and she rings the pipe. Looks like she might have stepped in the crease as well. They're going to call a crease violation against the sophomore.
Carney does a great job working her way around, and it's real, yeah, probably on the line right there. That's a very, very close call. Either way, she ringed it off the crossbar, so wouldn't have been a goal in the first place. But looks like the refs might be talking something over a little bit.
Carney, the sophomore out of McKinney, Texas, had 20 points, 11 goals, and 9 assists for Team USA at the World Championships this summer in Peterborough, Ontario. Funny enough, that's the hometown of Canisius head coach Allison Daly. Trying to get her team going, trailing by 5, just about 10 minutes gone here in this first half of the season opener for both sides. Canisius 3-15 last year. Syracuse checked in at 16-5, lost in the NCAA quarterfinals to a really good Northwestern team who is 1 spot ahead of them right now in the polls, in both the coaches and media poll at number 3.
And that's a Northwestern team they'll have to face slightly earlier in the season. Really, Syracuse's first big test will be against Northwestern. And yes, it's a team that lost Selena Lasota to graduation, but they're still bringing back a ton of talent.
Paige Statura has her goggles knocked off. Canisius goes back on offense, down by 5. First time we're seeing set defense from Syracuse in quite some time, as Megan Hoffman tries to get inside, but it's taken away by Grace Fahey. We don't typically see defensive midfielders specialized in women's lacrosse like we do in men's, but Fahey is the example. She feeds Harris Chuck. Gets inside, another save from Gilbert. She's been impressive so far in this game. Faced a lot of shots, but has made a couple of really nice saves.
And you got to give the Canisius defense some credit as well. They've been crashing so hard onto all of these Syracuse attackers. It really just comes down to when they leave players open, that's when Syracuse has been scoring.
5 caused turnovers for the Golden Griffins. Still trying to clear it, bumped at the midfield line. They'll say there was a little bit too much contact. There's the non-identical triplet, Tony Canisius trying to get back on offense. Just one goal. It was Miranda Malvaso, the attack of the Malvaso triplets. Feed inside for Marissa, and she bounces it home. One for Miranda, one for Marissa, and it's a 6-2 Syracuse lead as Canisius gets back on the board.
Syracuse so far working their backer zone style defense, and that's not helping them with guarding inside.
The Malvasos are all the offense for Canisius, but Syracuse with a 6-2 lead. Back inside the dome, 6-2, the Syracuse lead over Canisius, the number 4 team in the country, doing what they do. Megan Tyrell has been the leader so far for the Orange. She's got 2 goals, an impressive start to her sophomore season.
She's been doing a great job just getting herself open, putting herself in position to be able to shoot the ball well on just a quick stick to where the Canisius defense just can't react in real time.
We talked a lot about the Malvaso triplets, but Megan Tyrell also has a sister now on the Syracuse team. Her younger sister Emma is a freshman. She's expected to play some big minutes this season for Gary Gait.
She's been already seen out on the field so far, running with that second line. Gait mentioned to us it was between whether Bianca Chevrolet or Emma Tyrell would kind of run out with that second midfield line, but she's stuck with Tyrell so far. Chevrolet maybe will come in as an attack sub later in the game. We'll have to see which role she comes to play.
Chevrolet is the top-rated recruit in this number 9 recruiting class for Syracuse. So still yet to see her, but we're expecting to see her at some point in this game. Couple of different draw control takers for the Orange and the Golden Griffins. It's Emily Harris-Chuck and Skylar MacArthur, and Harris-Chuck remains perfect at the draw control circle.
That's exactly the type of draw she wants to run, a push-style draw where the ball flies in front of you and you can just run on to an easy ground ball.
9 draw control wins so far for Syracuse, none for the Golden Griffins. It has been utter dominance at the draw control circle for the Orange.
And the only reason that Canisius has even been able to score is because of their goalie, Lauren Gilbert.
Gilbert's had a great game so far, also 5 caused turnovers by the defense. First look at Chevrolet as she checks in. The freshman out of Canada feeds Morgan Alexander. Pass inside for Harris-Chuck. Trying to bully her way through. Looks like she might have been tripped up from behind. And actually, they're going to get Harris-Chuck for a crease violation. A lot of contact. You can see she's a little bit frustrated with that call.
She was doing a great job from this angle, weaving her way through those defenders and just trying to get herself as close to cage as possible. But if there wasn't enough pushing and shoving, which it didn't truly look like, her stepping in the crease would be a call.
Already second crease violation against the Orange, but they still have a 6-2 lead. So many turnovers forced so far by Canisius. They just haven't really taken advantage. Maybe Katie Smolensky can, and she does. Her sister Lauren was a star for the Golden Griffs, and now she's stepping into those shoes. Her first of the season. It's 6-3.
A great burst of speed by Katie Smolensky. She just saw her chance, beat Lila Nazarian, and was just like, I'm going to keep going to cage. And no one from Syracuse crashed on her. So you can see, though, her excitement as, again, she's going to be a person that really needs to step up to get this Canisius offense going. And so for her to net her first one just has to take a weight off of her shoulders instead of waiting for that one to come.
Only 4 goals a season ago as a freshman, but she's expected to take a huge jump as Gary Gait talks things over with Emily Harris-Chuck before she heads out for another draw control opportunity. But Smolensky, such a young player as a sophomore, but when we talked to Coach Daly, she said she has to be the quarterback of the offense, creating her own offense on that possession.
She took it by herself, didn't even need a teammate because she saw a lane, and you just have to believe that you can go. And that was a big difference between her and her sister. Her sister was more feed first. She's more drive to cage first, and we just saw it right there.
Her sister Lauren, top 11 in both points and assists all-time in Canisius history, graduated 2 years ago, the first season that head coach Allison Daly was in charge. Another draw control win for Harris-Chuck. Couple of quick goals here for Canisius, 2 in a row for the Golden Griffins. Let's see if Syracuse can go back on offense, get back to their dominant ways. Costantino spins out of trouble, but pulls it back out. A little bit more methodical on offense right now, and an errant pass off the stick of Bianca Chevry, but chased down in the corner by Tyrell, who has 2 goals today. 2 for Tyrell and 2 for Harris-Chuck, who has the ball. Harris-Chuck to Carney, make it 2 for Carney.
Carney just has so much flash on that goal, my goodness. You just see the way that she's able to come around her defender and just fire it with a nice sidearm goal right there. And that speaks a lot to that confidence that she gained from playing on the U19 US team. And even Coach Gate had to say that you can expect her to be the next big player here. She comes with a lot of confidence, and we saw it in the way that she fired with that much power on that goal.
That is high praise from one of the best coaches in the country, one of the best lacrosse players, maybe the best lacrosse player to ever live. Gary Gate in his 13th season with Syracuse. Trying to get back to a Final Four for the first time since 2016. That was when they came into the season ranked 3rd in the country. That was the last time they were that high or even close to that until this season, where they are ranked number 4, and they have a 4-goal lead, 7-3 over Canisius. 2 goals for Harris-Chuck, 2 for Carney, and 2 for Megan Tyrell, your top 3 attacks. Some contact in the middle of the field, but Canisius has their first draw control win of the day.
Harris-Chuck looking like she was frustrated when she got knocked down in the middle of the circle, and now jogging off to talk to coach yet again about all of this physicality she's facing.
And an errant pass from Emma Marigold, but physicality coming out and a big hit from Skylar MacArthur. Put Emily Harris-Chuck on her rear end.
Her frustration when she was talking to Coach Gate earlier was evident as well. She believes that she's got that dominance, that she's got that drive and can be physical about it, but so far the refs really aren't allowing her, and Canisius trying to frazzle her.
Harris-Chuck is back in, but she's not on this end of the field. Doesn't play much defense for Syracuse. Marigold in the middle has the pass picked off by Carrie DeFelice. She's played a nice game defensively so far, a preseason second-team All-American.
DeFelice consistently been one of the more shifty defenders, not as physical going at the players, but she manages to be scrappy with ground balls, scrappy on cause turnovers, and so far we're seeing that again as she enters her redshirt junior season.
2 Megans, Tyrell and Carney team up. Carney has the ball, 2 goals so far today for the sophomore out of Texas. Star freshman Chevry gets a touch. Carney again feeds Harris-Chuck, and she scores. The hat trick for Emily Harris-Chuck in the first half, less than halfway home in that first half. It's 8-3 Orange.
So far we've seen this Golden Griffins defense really struggling around the crease with their communication and their slides. This looks nearly identical to a goal that Megan Tyrell scored earlier, just on the opposite side. But now you can't leave Syracuse's best scorer that wide open right there. She can practically score from the goal line extended, and that's what she did on this one.
Preseason first-team All-American, preseason All-ACC, and according to Inside Lacrosse, when that publication released its top 100 players in college lacrosse, regardless of male or female, she was number 3, the highest ranked women's player.
And that speaks a lot to the expectations on her this season, and so far she's been living up to them with a hat trick already in this game.
Only players ranked higher than Emily Harris-Chuck in that top 100. Grant Ament, who might be the Tewaaraton front runner on the men's side, and Michael Sowers from Princeton. We're going to see Braylee Kempney take the draw for the first time today. She's a sophomore as she goes up against another sophomore in Skylar MacArthur.
Taking the draw is just in Braylee Kempney's blood. She's actually the younger sister of Kayla Kempney, who is the career leader in draw controls for the Orange.
And she picks up another win for Syracuse as DeFelice picks it up for the Orange and goes back on offense. Talk a lot about how many sisters are on the Canisius side with the triplets in the male Vassos, but a lot of sisterhood connection on this Syracuse side as well. The Kempneys, and then Carrie DeFelice's older sister, Caitlin, is an assistant coach for the Orange. Tyrell has a sister on the team, feeds Harris-Chuck, and she gets barreled into from behind. Pryor Cummings a little bit too aggressive coming after Emily Harris-Chuck.
You can certainly see, though, that is part of their strategy today for Canisius, is to say, how many times can we bump up Emily Harris-Chuck? How many times can we get her frustrated with the amount of physical pressure we're putting on her?
Another free position opportunity and another save from Lauren Gilbert. She has stonewalled the Orange on all 4 attempts from the 8-meter.
This time Harris-Chuck choosing to go high, a little bit of a riser shot, but again, it's Gilbert expecting it and makes the big stop up top.
Already 6 saves for Lauren Gilbert. First season as the full-time starter, she dominated most of the minutes between a 3-goalie rotation last year. Played just over 550 minutes for the Golden Griffins and started a bulk of their games. Orange looking for another cause turnover, and DeFleece ensures that it happens. She's playing a whale of a game right now.
Every single time that ball drops near that defensive end, it seems like it somehow ends up in DeFleece's stick.
Sam Swart to Carney. Morgan Alexander. Looked like it might have gotten deflected off of the stick of Lauren Gilbert. As she continues to step up, this could be a much worse margin if Gilbert wasn't standing between the pipes. Alexander, another opportunity. This time she finds the back of the net. That's the problem with the Syracuse offense. It's just so potent, so many different goal scorers, as Morgan Alexander is on the board for the first time this year.
And even on that transition goal, you had Harris-Chuck open, but this time it's again right by the crease. It seems like most of Syracuse's goals are coming when they leave a player open on the doorstep, and all they need is one fake it. Especially for the goalie, you're right in their face. They have no time to attempt to react to you, unlike when you're coming at them from a distance. So that's how Syracuse has really been executing, and if anything, the Golden Griffins defense then needs to be more aware that the crease so far has been their enemy.
Alexander already the 5th goal scorer for the Orange, 3 for Emily Harris-Chuck, 2 each for Megan Tyrell and Megan Carney, 1 for Mary Rahal, and now 1 for the redshirt senior Morgan Alexander, who really has one of the cooler stories on the team, just the adversity that she's had to fight through. She's a 5th-year senior, but this is only her 2nd season playing collegiate lacrosse because she had to battle back from so many injuries. Did so last year for a breakout season, looking for a strong finish to her career this year.
She had 6 knee surgeries between ACL, dislocated kneecap. She tore her MCL 3 times. I mean, that's a lot for one person to go through, and even Coach Gate recognized that. So a big goal for them today is to get her moving the ball better, but also to not wear her down completely.
6 knee surgeries will wear you down. Kempney with another draw control win. Here comes the quote-unquote defensive midfielder, Grace Fahey, as she clears it and gets the Orange back on offense. Harris-Chuck already with a hat trick in this first half. Rahal also a goal. Sam Swart, who holds the ball now with 3 assists. That's a career high. Around the perimeter come the Orange. Spin cycle from Rahal. Good help side defense, though, from Malvaso. That's Marissa, the midfielder. Now Sierra Cockrell. How about 6 goal scorers for the Orange in the first half?
Everyone is a threat on this Syracuse Orange team, whether they're a midfielder or an attacker. In this case, the double was already closed onto Tyrell. The Golden Griffins actually did a great job defensively there. It was then they left Cockrell open, and that second slide didn't come to help.
First goal of the season for the sophomore. 9 goals a season ago. And already free Chick-fil-A for all fans in attendance here inside the Dome. Got to get to that 10-goal threshold, and Syracuse has already done it. Allison Daly's squad is struggling. It's 10-3 Orange over the Golden Griffins as Daly takes a timeout. Sarah Cooper's defense is dominating. Canisius can't get anything going. Emily Harris-Chuck dominating so far for Syracuse. Preseason first-team All-American. 3 goals, a hat trick in the first half, getting it done in a variety of ways, Nicole.
She's been able to get it off the feed, taking it by herself, picking it up from a ground ball, and no matter what, she's faking it, she's going hard, she's going with a drive to the cage and looking and wanting to put it in the back of the net.
She's got a team-high 4 points, also has dominated at the draw control circle, with the bulk of the draw control wins for the Orange, already 5 in this game. She'll get a break from the draw control circle here with her team up 7 as Braylee Kempney, the sophomore, heads back out there. Seen a couple of different draw takers for Canisius. Have to wait and see who they send out there this time around. They're going to send out Alden Savage, the junior from Palmyra, New York. First time we'll see her at the draw control circle. 11 draw wins for Syracuse, only 1 for the Golden Griffins. And usually when you look at the draw control statistic, it mirrors the scoreboard quite often.
Absolutely. There's a saying, you can't win a game if you don't win the draw, because possession is just so important, and you can't rely on your defense or your goalie to always make those big stops. And so far, it has been playing in the Orange's favor as they've been winning more of the draws.
Canisius tries to go with some power, but Kempney squeaks through and picks up the draw control for the Orange. Costantino all alone. Harris-Chuck with 3 goals, beats Carney with 2. Now to the other Megan sophomore, Tyrell also has 2 goals in this game. And Megan Carney draws another shooting space violation against Canisius. This has been the one spot that Syracuse has been poor in today. They're 0 for 4 on free position opportunities against Lauren Gilbert.
You have to wonder when Coach Gate may say something of try to get a little bit closer, go at speed rather than just power. That's what they keep doing, is only maybe a 1-2 step into the 8-meter arc, or just firing from standing as Carney just did. And that's just going to have so much inaccuracy.
0 for 5 so far for the Orange on the free positions. Kara Quimby looking to get involved, redshirt senior, trying to wrap up her collegiate career as so many want to with a national championship. Syracuse looking good so far, the number 4 team in the country. Went to the NCAA quarterfinals last year. Ring around the rosy come the Orange, and Megan Carney has a hat trick. A dynamic goal scorer, dynamic finisher. And who'd that pass come from? It was Emily Harris-Chuck who fed Carney.
You see kind of like the pass back system that they're working. It's just each person turns over their shoulder to pass it back. And again, we're seeing the crease be Canisius' enemy. Traditionally, it's supposed to help keep, attackers out, away from your goalie, away from the cage. But now it's Syracuse who's been able to tiptoe on the line, get in nice and close up in Gilbert's face, and put it past. And Carney's now up to her 3rd.
Couple of hat tricks for those 2 players right there, Emily Harris-Chuck and Megan Carney. Harris-Chuck fed Emma Tyrell, who fed Carney for the goal. 9 assists so far for the Orange. 6 different players have scored, so they scored 11 goals, and 9 of them have come assisted. That's an impressive percentage.
And that shows the teamwork that this team has. Returning from last season was the majority of their offensive roster. You had Harris-Chuck, Megan Tyrell, and Megan Carney as the main 3 attackers beyond Nicole Levy. And the 3 of them are back again. So there's already that chemistry on the offensive end that makes just seeing each other, having that vision, that much better.
Nearly 14 or just over 14 goals per game a year ago, and 83% of those goals come back this season. Tyrell, as the flag comes out, dances inside. She's taken down as the ball rolls out of her stick, and a flag coming against Canisius.
Another strong drive. Syracuse really utilizing that, how they can get pushed. You saw the shove to her back, and that kind of was a clear indicator, especially with the ref right there, that it was going to be a flag. Give her the free position. Orange
0 for 5 on free positions, make it 0 for 6. Another save from Lauren Gilbert. If you're Syracuse, you might want to just avoid getting knocked down to the ground or avoid drawing shooting space violations, because they have been completely unable to convert.
Free positions are supposed to work in your favor. They give you a one-on-one chance with the goalie, and so far it's been Gilbert who's been winning the battle.
8 saves already tonight for the CNS product in her junior season up in Buffalo at Canisius. Good, strong physical defense from the Orange, forces an errant pass, but the Golden Griffins check it down with Megan Huffman.
Syracuse back into their specialty zone defense, and so you'll see Sarah Cooper kind of shadowing where the ball is and being that extra line of defense so that Syracuse can play high pressure.
Cooper, number 26 in the middle, the freshman of the year in the ACC last year. You can see her. DeFelice applying the on-ball defense. Cooper there. She forces the ball to come out of the stick of Katie Smolensky. It's going to go against Syracuse. Again, physical from the Orange, but that time a little bit too physical.
Honestly, looked like a decent back check. It was the stick on stick in terms of contact. I think it was the way that she was able to come around and kind of got tripped up to the ground that made it look like a push.
Smolensky with a chance and saved by Goldstock. First time we've really seen Asa tested in this game. First save of the day for Goldstock. She is quickly approaching number 2 on the all-time saves list in Syracuse history. Needs just 2 more in this game. So honestly, if you're Asa, trying to get into this game, get a little bit jacked up for the season opener, you want a couple more opportunities to come your way. Instead, her offense goes back at it. An 8-goal lead for the Orange. Just about 10 minutes to go here in the first half. Alexander has one of the goals today for Syracuse. Tries to come up with it. Scrum for the ball, and it's going to go a foul against Alexander.
Canisius honestly done a great job so far handling the high pressure ride that Syracuse implements. You can see Harris Chuck sprinting onto her player now all the way to the 30, and Canisius hasn't really had too many turnovers there other than those first 2, which of course comes with getting into the game.
Golden Griffins with 3 goals today, 2 from the Malvasos and 1 from Katie Smolensky. Here's Marissa Malvaso, leading returning goal scorer from a season ago. Double comes from Simpkins and Quimby. And a foul called against the Orange.
Malvaso did a great job trying to break the double and then make a pass play there, but Simpkins was ready.
Big time interception from Ella Simpkins, kind of filling in the role that Alexa Razowitz had last year for the Orange. She feeds the freshman Chevery. Sophomore Carney takes a rip, but it's way up high over the cage, and her fellow sophomore Megan Tyrell backs it up.
Looks like Carney's arm may have kind of gotten pushed out of the way.
But Carney feeds Harris Chuck, and there's goal number 4 for the preseason All-American.
Just an easy quick stick goal. Harris Chuck pretty much sprinting through the middle uncovered, and it's kind of one of those high situation plays. Actually just beat her defender, got enough of a step in. That shows how elite of an attacker she is. All she needed was a little bit of room, catch the ball, put it back down past Gilbert.
5 points for Emily Harris Chuck in this game. She's got 4 goals and an assist. But Megan Carney also having a really nice game herself. She's got 5 points on 3 goals and 2 assists.
And that would be really the 1-2 punch that teams should expect from the Syracuse team, is Harris Chuck being the number 1 and Carney being there to supply when they need it otherwise. But this is yet another game where Harris Chuck has scored over 4+ goals, which he did 15 times last year.
That's what'll get you to 75 goals, second most ever in a season by a Syracuse player. Can you guess who's number 1?
I'm guessing it's Kayla Traynor.
It was Kayla Traynor, 79 goals as a senior for Syracuse.
Feel like her, Katie Rowan, the 2 of them, they clean up the record book.
Draw control win for the freshman, Caitlin Mashevsky. She comes away with it. Second draw control win for her. She is the 2nd overall recruit in this class behind Chevery, both of them top 35 in the country. Orange looking to get to a running clock. Next goal would mean a 10-goal advantage for Syracuse and a running clock already in the first half with under 9 to play. Swart has 3 assists. Feeds Harris Chuck. Finds its way back to Carney in a shot, which might have actually been a pass, goes off the post. I think she was looking for Sam Swart in the middle, and it ended up squeaking through everybody, and the post saved Lauren Gilbert.
You hate to see some of those goals that tend to be slow rollers in off an accident. So good for Gilbert to always just be aware whenever the ball is, like, wherever the ball is.
Look at that number, 23 shots for Syracuse. Only 4 for Canisius. large part of the reason, number one, Syracuse is scoring a lot and then winning a lot of the draw controls. Another reason is Emily Harris-Chuck is dominating. Defense to offense, looking to score in transition. Crosses over her defender, barrels down the middle, and scores again. That is number 5 in the first half for Emily Harris-Chuck. She is going off in her senior season opener.
She makes a great turnover there, a good check on the sidelines, and no one's going to be able to chase her down. Fellow senior Riley Lucarelli was there, but never kind of turned to apply some pressure. So both ended up tripping each other, and then everyone really excited for her. I think my question now will be, who's going to come out with more goals on the day? Chase Scanlon from the men's team or Emily Harris-Chuck from the women's team?
Scanlon had 7 in his Syracuse debut, the transfer from Loyola, the best freshman in the country last year. Harris-Chuck has 5 in the first half tonight, and we've still only got 7 minutes and 15 seconds left in this first half. And Gary Gate, of course, number 22, kind of started that 22 tradition. 2 national championship appearances and 6 conference regular season titles between the Big East and the ACC. Seeing the number 22 back on the back of a men's lacrosse player, certainly something I'm sure Gary appreciates.
And it's the first time in 2 years there's been a 22, and even in the last decade, the player that has worn it, such as a Jordan Evans, really got nothing going. So today, to see Chase Scanlon come out with 7 goals, it felt like the magic was back about the number.
Mashevsky with another draw control win as Carrie DeFleece picks it up. Got a pretty good 22 on the women's team, too. That's Megan Carney. She's got 3 goals and 2 assists today. 16-1, the draw control advantage for the Orange. 13-3, the scoreboard advantage.
They could say 22 carries the same prowess. I remember Taylor Gate wore the number as well when she played on the team.
Makes a lot of sense. Her dad, of course, the head coach. Sam Swart inside, and another big-time save from Lauren Gilbert. 13 goals for Syracuse. It could easily be 20 if Lauren Gilbert wasn't having a whale of a game.
Oh, absolutely. She's done a great job of just saving everything. Pretty much that comes her way. It's just she needs her team to be able to transition the ball.
Syracuse ride really getting into the faces of Canisius, but Sam Swart is dispossessed, but a violation goes against Canisius, and you see the clock rolling at the bottom of our scoreboard. That's because it's a 10-goal lead for the Orange. Anytime in women's college lacrosse there's a 10 or more goal advantage, we do get a running clock as Allison Daly barks out some instructions. The third-year head coach for Canisius trying to get her team back into it. They just really haven't been able to get anything going despite the strong play of her junior goalkeeper. Harris-Chuck's got 5 goals, Carney with 3. How about 2 for Megan Tyrell and 1 for Morgan Alexander. 6 different goal scorers so far today for Syracuse.
Everyone getting involved on this team, and that's exactly what Gary Gate wants, to see what each player can bring to the table for when they do face some top 5, top 10 opponents through the rest of the season.
And they do have a couple of tough matchups on the horizon, not only in the ACC, but also in non-conference play. We mentioned Northwestern, the team they lost to 18-14 in the NCAA quarterfinals up in Evanston, Illinois last season. Fake pass from Cockrell looking for her second goal, but it's backed up by Rahal and Carney.
She went with good speed there and had a lane, kind of just needs to either plant or turn her hips/shoulders a little bit more towards the cage so that it's on target.
Ball on the ground, Rahal picks it up. She had one of the first 2 goals for Syracuse. Gets it back, the senior midfielder. Under 10 to shoot for the Orange. Out in front, Megan Tyrell batted down by Lauren Gilbert, and a shot goes over the crossbar, rolls over the end line. And because there was no kind of shot on goal, that's a shot clock violation against Syracuse. And Gilbert already with a bunch of saves here tonight. Just an absolute stone wall in cage for the Golden Griffs.
Pretty much all she needed was the little tip of the ball over, kind of a lot of chaos right in front of the cage, and somehow it ends up in Tyrell's stick, but Gilbert's able to poke it away.
Gilbert with some family here tonight, the Cicero North Syracuse product, one of 8 Syracuse area players on this Canisius squad. Look at the hard, aggressive ride once again from the Orange. Emily Harris-Chuck, the attack, almost knocked it out of the stick of Riley Lucarelli, the defender, as she carried it over the restraining line for the Golden Griffins.
And
3
again,
goals so far today for Canisius.
And again, you can see the high pressure that Syracuse is putting on, and even then it's called a little bit too much there.
A lot of physicality today for Syracuse has gotten them to a 10-goal lead, running clock already here in the first half. Errant passes like that not helping. Here comes the double team. And a foul is going to be called against Syracuse. Got a little bit too much stick from Allison Trice and Carrie DeFleece. Feed in front for Briar Cummings, and she scores, or did they call a crease violation? No, they'll call it a goal. Cummings, the senior from CNS, scores inside the dome, and we're back within 9 for Canisius.
Looked like a little bit of confusion there on the Syracuse defensive side. Sam Swart was there, and she certainly was in the crease. I mean, practically ran into Asa Goldstock. So I think the question was, did she shoot it before she stepped in? And I don't know about that one. It's close. It was certainly close, but it'll stay as a goal for Canisius. And Syracuse can't look back, though, and say they didn't have good D. They were there. They crashed right there on the cage. So just kind of an unlucky one for Asa Goldstock.
Goldstock really hasn't been tested much in this first half. Just 1 save compared to the 4 goals. And again, she's only faced 6 shots so far from Canisius, well over 20 for Syracuse. Emily Harris-Chuck switching out to get her what appears to be a different stick, probably a more draw control driven stick for Harris-Chuck as she goes back out to the circle to face off with the goal scorer Cummings.
The stringing of a stick can be so important for how it builds your pocket and how you're able to control the ball. And so with the power she generates when she rips it, she needs a much tougher stick down a much bigger pocket towards the top. When she's doing the draw, it's more of a stick that would be shorter and easier to pick up a ground ball with.
She's been successful with both sticks. Doesn't matter if she's got the attack stick or the draw control stick in her hands. She's had a whale of a game already. 5 goals. Trying to pick up a draw control win, but they're going to call it for a violation. And a win goes to Canisius.
A little bit of a broadcaster's curse there, JD.
It could be. Mostly it's free throws, but apparently it also works for draw controls as the Griffs look for back-to-back goals. Got the last one from Briar Cummings. She has it on the right wing. And again, physical defense from Syracuse. Vanessa Costantino called for the bump.
Good to keep your body in front there. Her stick was just a little bit too vertical. You got to be able to keep it a little bit more up than where she had it.
Canisius trying to snap an 0 for 6 streak against Syracuse all time. Now an air horn from the officials comes in. And it's an inadvertent horn. So not exactly from the officials, but from somebody on the sideline. So play will resume, nothing doing. 2:21 to go in this first half. Syracuse up 9. Ursa Malvaso looks for a pass inside. Again, it's picked off by DeFleece. Being chased down by a double team, looking for a teammate to pass to. Uses her speed and clears it over the restraining line for Bianca Chevery.
Good handle there by DeFleece when carrying the ball. Traditionally, when faced with a double team in the mid, you'd want to roll back.
Carney for Alexander, second of the day for the redshirt senior. Orange back up 10.
Another Syracuse goal, another chance around the crease that they give them. This time, though, just a nice feed inside. Morgan Alexander working with Costantino a little bit, kind of getting the defense mixed up. So she's left all alone and buries it low.
Feels like Morgan Alexander is kind of a zone buster for this Syracuse team. Standing at 5'10", the redshirt senior. Kind of similar to when a basketball team going against the 2-3 zone for Syracuse would put somebody right at the ACC logo in the free throw line and let that player kind of distribute or dominate from that spot. That's kind of the role that we're seeing Alexander in today.
And we're seeing it go both ways, honestly, because even Canisius, the majority of their goals, besides the Selensky one where she drove right in by herself, were all just players kind of moving around on the inside and somebody being left open because they're running a zone defense. So it kind of goes both ways that both teams have been facing it.
Back to a running clock. Under a minute to go in the first half. It's a 14-4 Syracuse lead. Draw controls have been dominated by the Orange. and will redraw. Ball never went above the head to Briar Cummings and Emily Harris-Chuck. This one definitely goes over their heads. Batted down by Harris-Chuck, but picked up by Canisius. Nice win from the freshman Paige Statura. Golden Griffins trying to get it back to under a 10-goal deficit before halftime. They've got just about 20 seconds to do it. Again, running clock because they're down by 10. Statura feeds Smolensky, the sophomore. Double team comes for the Orange. 5 to shoot, and Asa Goldstock knocks down a pass, and she can just hold it in her crease as time rolls out. A dominant first half from the number 4 team in the country. They have a 10-goal lead, and Emily Harris-Chuck is a huge reason why. 5 goals, 1 assist for the preseason.
Player, the power like that. And then you have Tyrell, who is more quiet, kind of laid back in her approach to style of play, not as flashy. So I think that's where the conversation circles for us too, is sitting here where it's like, oh, we can pump up Kearney all day long, but it's not like Tyrell's playing bad either.
Tyrell had the first goal of the season for the Orange. She's got 4 points on 2 goals and 2 assists. Another draw control win for the Orange. They've dominated that spot. It's now 17-3 as Emily Harris-Chuck and Grace Fahey team up for the draw control win.
You got to give Fahey some credit. She snuck in with Emily Harris-Chuck to make the all-tournament ACC team after having a stellar game against BC. And other than that, you don't really hear her name mentioned too much, but she's a force to be reckoned with out there when it comes to ground balls.
A whistle as we wait for what looks like a shot clock reset, and we do get it to a full 90 seconds. Just 30 seconds gone here in the second half. Syracuse with the first possession of this second half. Here inside the Dome, JD Rachi alongside Nicole Weaving. Thank you so much for making us a part of your Friday night as Syracuse dominates against Canisius. Cockrell, one of 6 goal scorers, as is Morgan Alexander. So is Emily Harris-Chuck. Megan Kearney has 3, but a save by Gilbert can't make it 4. Gilbert is putting on a show in the crease.
Not the best shot selection there by Megan Kearney. Brought the power, hoping maybe that would help get it past her, but she did shoot same stick side high. And that's the easiest save that a goalie can make. All you need is the quick step to the left, exactly what Gilbert did, but not playing down how good she's been in this game.
She's made the easy saves, she's made the hard saves, she's got 10 saves in this game. She has faced an inordinate amount of shots, 30 for Syracuse, only 5 for Canisius in this game. That, of course, reflected, I should say, on the scoreboard. First offensive possession for the Golden Griffins. Briar Cummings shot sails over the crossbar. She's got one of the 4 goals today for Canisius. So does Katie Smolensky, the sophomore. Again, aggressive zone defense from Syracuse. They've used that backer all day long. Inside, and Goldstock has it bounce right to her. Defense has been just about as good as the offense in this game.
They've really stepped up with handling the amount of players Canisius is throwing inside that 8-meter fan. They're trying to create chaos, and right there, the chaos just didn't work in the Golden Griffins' favor.
Syracuse looking to make it 9 for 9 on clears, and they do so. Rahal to Kearney to Harris-Chuck, goal number 6. A double hat trick for Emily Harris-Chuck. In her first game as a senior, it's an 11-goal lead for the Orange.
Just a beautiful passing sequence, easy tic-tac-toe from Rahal to Kearney and then to Emily Harris-Chuck right on the doorstep. I mean, practically like a ballet arabesque she threw in to ensure she wouldn't fall in the crease right there. And up to 6 goals, she's now 1 away from tying Chase Scanlon. Can she do it and surpass him?
I mean, she's got a lot of time left. Over 26 minutes left in this second half. I got to ask, though, what the heck is an arabesque? I've never been a dancer before.
You got the arabesque when you're on one leg and then the other one flies back in hopes that you'll balance yourself and not be falling too much forward.
Emily was a big-time athlete growing up. Not sure if she was a dancer, but she definitely played baseball. She played soccer, discovered the sport of women's lacrosse in 7th grade, started playing, played for a year, and then it was really one moment that kind of turned everything over for her and kind of put her on a path to Syracuse. It was actually the 2012 national championship game that Syracuse lost to Northwestern. Her favorite player was playing for Northwestern. It was Shannon Smith for the Wildcats. And she saw Northwestern win that game. Even though her favorite player was playing in purple, she wanted to win a national championship for Syracuse. That's the day that it all kind of changed her mind. A great story from the Daily Orange here on campus to kind of get inside Emily Harris-Chuck's mind and figure out where she wanted to go and what she wants to do. Really, that's the last thing, besides possibly a Tewaaraton Award winner, that she has left to do is win a national championship at Syracuse. She finds a feed to Sierra Cockrell, but her shot sails over the crossbar. And really, it just seems like everybody is licking their chops at a possibility to go back to championship weekend down in Baltimore for the first time since 2016 this year for the Orange.
Two good looks back-to-back right there for Sierra Cockrell. First, it was cutting in. She did a great job flashing herself to the ball, and again there, but couldn't get it done. So who else but Emily Harris-Chuck?
How about goal number 7 for Emily Harris-Chuck? She matches Chase Scanlon from the men's squad. And it's a 16-4 Orange lead. She is dominating.
She just did a great job turning the corner. You see the change of speed. That's really what caught Canisius off guard. It was the crossover with Morgan Alexander. The two defenders were next to each other. So then she was able to pick it up the pace with a quick step, flash the ball, get it, and then shoot it in on a quick stick. That's about the second or third quick stick, I believe, goal that we've seen from her tonight. And so it's a lot of the same, but Canisius still not able to stop her just because she's so dominant.
Harris-Chuck scored 75 goals last year. That's the second most ever in a single season in program history. Quick math in my head tells me she's already a tenth of the way there in game number 1 this season, with still over 24 minutes left in the game. She is putting on a show. Not at the draw control circle right now. Instead, it's Morgan Widener, junior out of Texas, to go back at the circle against Canisius. She's going up against Skylar MacArthur in an easy win, or at least it looked easy, until Canisius comes away with it. Nice play from the freshman Paige Stachura, and now the Golden Griffins can start quickly, at least they thought they could. And now Stachura will take it at the 45-yard line.
And here comes the ride.
Hard, aggressive ride so far today for the Orange. Double team from Harris-Chuck and Kearney, but a nice pass over. Gets it over for Emma Marigold. Now bump from behind goes against Syracuse.
And so something that you'll see strategically from Syracuse as well as other high-level NCAA teams is apply as much pressure as you can on those first two. You're allowed 2 bumps before the person crosses the 30-yard line. That won't get called for a green card. But then once you get to the third one, then it kind of may result in a serious infraction for your team. So that's kind of what Syracuse did, that high pressure until the second bump, and then they're done.
More pressure from the Orange, Kara Quimby and Vanessa Costantino, but a check infraction against Syracuse awards the possession back to the Golden Griffins. Quick touch pass to Marissa Melvaso on a save made by Asa Goldstock. That's number 2 on the day. She needs 1 more to move into second all-time on the Syracuse saves list. She is right now tied with Carla Gignon, who played here from 2000 to 2003. Marissa Melvaso finds Briar Cummings. Pass broken up by DeFleece.
DeFleece is just a turnover machine today, just deflecting everything out of the air. And I feel like we expected Sarah Cooper to play that role more at her 5'9" stature. She's already got her stick up in the air just from pure height. And now it's more DeFleece being shifty, getting her stick in the right place in the passing lanes and knocking them down.
Syracuse looking to take advantage, and Morgan Alexander does. Third separate player with a hat trick in this game. First Harris-Chuck, then Kearney, and now Morgan Alexander.
Great cut inside right there, and beautiful look by Kearney. She just needed a little bit of room, and that's got to be frustrating for these Canisius defenders because they're in the right place. They're there. They're practically matching their stick. But when you're playing Syracuse, the number 4 ranked team in the preseason poll by Inside Lacrosse, coming into this season, just a sliver of room is going to be too much. You really got to be right in front, cutting off the cutter, and they didn't do it this time, so Morgan Alexander capitalizes.
Morgan Alexander with 20 goals a season ago, her first collegiate season after recovering from 4 different knee surgeries. You can still see the big black brace on her right knee, similar, kind of matching Morgan Widener, who will now go out there with the draw control. Trying to get possession again, and now Hannah Van Middelum, the backup goalie, has checked in. So Asa Goldstock ends the day with 2 saves. If she doesn't come back in, she will enter the matchup against Stony Brook on Monday. Number 12 Stony Brook at that. Tied for second all-time in program history in saves with Carla Gignon.
Head coach Gary Gate told us he really wanted to get Van Middelum some time today as she's coming back from her redshirt year. She was dealing with a foot injury last season, and now this will be her first time really stepping on the field since 2018.
Van Middelum, a dominant recruit, one of the best in the country. Now we're seeing some of the substitutions. Riley Fusco into the game for Syracuse along with Kenzie Harris. Seen Emma Tyrell in that second midfield unit check in with Vanessa Costantino. Midfielders go about 3 lines deep. Gary Gate told us the attack does not go nearly that deep. So they've got Tyrell, Fusco, and Kenzie Harris out there. That's about as deep as they will go at attack. Might see a little bit of Molly Carter at some point today as well. Kara Quimby on that second midfield line feeds the freshman Tyrell, who's out there with her sister Megan. Both from Mount Sinai, New York. One a sophomore, one a freshman.
A lot of players trying to make something happen around the crease, but it's kind of bunching them all together on the Syracuse side. They kind of need to spread it out, give themselves a couple chances to work the ball around, and then start getting some good cutters to make a play happen. Emma
Tyrell clicks off a post. Tried to get her first career goal. Her sister Megan picks up the ground ball. Syracuse retains possession. Costantino off the screen from Quimby. Try to give and go, but it's broken up by Canisius. Ball bouncing around. And Molly Carter picks it up for the Orange. Carter, an Under Armour All-American, feeds Tyrell, and she's going to get bumped on the head. That foul will go against Paige Statura, fellow freshman. Syracuse 0 for 5 from the 8-meter today, trying to see if they can crack the Lauren Gilbert code from this spot. Tyrell, the freshman, feeds it off to Kenzie Harris. Tried to feed it across the goal mouth. Ground ball picked up by Molly Carter. She's bumped as well. Another free position for the Orange.
Kenzie Harris might have just needed an extra step or 2 around the crease. She was there. It was a beautiful feed play and the smart call by Coach Gate. She just was not far enough off the goal line extended to get it in.
Pass inside, and Tyrell has a hat trick of her own. 4 hat tricks for the Orange, and it's a 15-goal lead less than halfway through the second half. Syracuse is dominating this game. Megan Tyrell with the closest goal, but everybody is getting involved. 6 different goal scorers. Orange dominating in the Dome. A 14-goal lead for the Orange. It's 18-14, dominating against Canisius, and a big reason why is just the pure amount of talent on the field. Emily Harris-Chuck, we've talked a lot about her, but how about Carrie DeFleece? She's playing a whale of a game, leads the team with 5 ground balls today, has been excellent defensively.
Rookie Freshman of the Year, go a little bit quiet, even though she slides in as a first-teamer compared to DeFleece at second team.
Good look at two of the preseason All-Americans. Megan Carney, as she walks out of the shot, gets ready to get back on the field. And Emily Harris-Chuck, who has 7 goals today. That is a career high. A storied career for Emily Harris-Chuck, and she is showing out in the first game of her senior season. Braylee Kempney goes back to the draw control circle for Syracuse. This is a spot they have absolutely dominating this game, 19-4. The draw controls, and Kempney makes it an even 20 for the Orange. Big back check coming in from Katie Smolensky. Wipes out Braylee Kempney. Looks like she's all right, though, as she gets back up and kind of wipes off the hit.
Smolensky kind of lucky that wasn't that wouldn't have been a card. I mean, she really came in and blindsided her with that back check, and that can truly be dangerous for the ACL, the knee area, and that's kind of what those yellow cards are there to do, prevent very serious injuries to lacrosse players.
Orange go back on offense. A lot of backups into the game for Syracuse. Trying to get as many players involved as possible. Molly Carter feeds Kenzie Harris, a couple of juniors getting after it for the Orange, and now Harris is knocked to the turf. A couple of other newcomers into the game. Danielle Marino, a freshman from West Islip, New York, is in there. Harris starts with the ball, feeds Carney, tries to go backhand as it rolls, and almost saved by Syracuse, but it rolls over the end line. Good chance from Bella Rashawn to try to keep that in bounds. The senior from East Quogue, New York, can't quite come up with it.
Kenzie Harris, certainly a player to look out for going forward. She's also, similar to a Morgan Alexander, dealt with a lot of injuries throughout her career. And this is really the first time she's stepping back out on the field in about 3 to 4 years. So that's something Coach Gate also looking forward to see what she can do.
She's a junior right now. She missed her senior year of high school, freshman year, sophomore year, and now she's back as a junior. Inside, first chance for Hannah Van Middelum to see a shot, and it goes wide. Van Middelum, a dominant recruit in her own right, top 10 recruit in the country when she was coming out of high school. She was also the top goalie in her class. It's good to have that kind of depth behind Asa Goldstock, who is already a fantastic netminder in her own right.
We certainly saw times when Van Middelum during her freshman year would step up in case Goldstock got a little bit too much in her head. That's something that she's consistently dealt with as a goalie, is the mental game that comes with playing that position. And sometimes Asa Goldstock would just get too frazzled about it. Just got to give her a break and put Van Middelum in. She could handle the pressure.
Defense getting physical. We saw a physical play from Katie Smolensky, and she gets a little bit of a physical play on the other end, as she's the one knocked to the turf. And a restart here coming for Canisius. Lila Nazarian will match up just to her right. Still all the starting defenders in there for the Orange. Although Caitlin Mashevsky is the closest to the ball right now, the freshman. Number 2 recruit in the class behind Bianca Chevry. Canisius works it inside, trying to get it to Emil Vaso. Instead, it is to Smolensky, but she nails it into the side of the cage.
Great job there with the ground ball to be on there for the hustle play, and honestly speaks to DeFelice again. I mean, it feels like we can't say enough about her in this game with what she's done, and she closed off so well on the crease. Honestly, it's what we've seen Syracuse's offense been able to manipulate against Canisius, exactly what they weren't able to accomplish on their own offense.
She gets the clearance, starts the offense for the Orange. Kenzie Harris looking for her first collegiate goal in her first collegiate game. Has the ball knocked out of her stick. It looks like she might have gotten a check to the head as well. Harris, the junior out of Rochester and Brighton High School. And a goal for Bella Rashawn. Didn't expect to see a ton of her in this game, but she takes advantage of some minutes and puts Syracuse up by 15.
Doing what seniors do best, which is taking a leadership role out there, and really just does a great job turning the corner as no one from Canisius comes to crash on her. You see the lowering of the shoulder right there to get herself a nice straight-on look at the cage, and she fires one past Gilbert.
Sean with her first goal this season. Didn't play a ton last year as a junior. Did see a little bit of time as well as a sophomore where she played 12 games for the Orange. So Lauren Gilbert comes out, and boy, 19 goals might seem like she just got shelled, but she played really, really well. She is just facing a ton of shots. And now the backup, Emily Van Kessel, will check into the game, the junior out of Orillia, Ontario in Canada.
I feel like we can't talk enough about siblings on this team for Canisius. I mean, also with Syracuse, but Van Kessel also has her older sister on the team in Katie Van Kessel, a defender who we have not yet seen take the field.
Caitlin Van Kessel is an assistant captain, more of an off-the-field leader. She's dealt with some injuries in the past, and looks like Canisius might have had one too many players on the field as the freshman Paige Statura races off. 3 sets of siblings for the Canisius side. The Malvaso triplets, the Van Kessel sisters, and the Lucarelli sisters. We've seen at least one member of each of those families play in the game today. All 3 Malvasos, 1 Lucarelli, and 1 Van Kessel. Bella Rashawn, the goal scorer, goes back on offense with Caitlin Mashevsky and Danielle Marino. It's a young lineup out there, a couple of juniors along with some freshmen, some sophomores, and 1 senior. Rashawn is the lone senior on the field, feeds the freshman Chevery. Riley Fusco trying to get a look at Cage, rips a shot, and it's saved by Van Kessel. Picking right up where Lauren Gilbert left off, and net for the Griffs.
It's funny talking about siblings. Bella Rashawn, you mentioned the lone senior, also had an older sister, Zoe, who played on the team not too long ago.
Lacrosse seems like one of those sports where sometimes siblings in football or basketball like to split themselves up and they want to be their own person. But in lacrosse, a lot of familial ties on teams and in programs. Katie Smolensky's older sister, Lauren, was a star. Top 11 all-time in program history in both points and assists, where she sits number 4 on the Golden Griffs all-time charts. Canisius trying to look for their first goal of this second half. Not a ton of opportunity thus far. Good pass inside for Mariah Gold, but has to play it back out for Marissa Malvaso. Pass across the crease, dangerous pass, pulled down. Feed in front for Briar Cummings, and a big save for Van Middelum.
Considering that now we've seen 90% of the starters moved out, these are pretty much all of the bench players. They're doing a great job with shutting down these Canisius starters, especially got to give a shout out to Lauren Gray on that pass possession, just absolutely stepping in and stopping the girl in the middle, being the lone player to do so. But now it's Hannah Van Middelum that does it.
Another save for Van Middelum, but it looked like Smolensky might have gotten a little too close to the crease, but the backside defense from Simpkins knocks her down, and that's a violation and a free position upcoming for Canisius.
She's on the floating hash, though. Certainly a tough one. Going in with her left hand, certainly the right call. Oh, now they're moving her to the second inside hash. So at least a little bit of a better angle.
Smolensky looking for her second goal. Instead, she passes it off. Briar Cummings, also one of the goal scorers today for Canisius. Down to a knee goes Smolensky. Draws the double team. And a Ziemba, the Cazenovia product, by way of CBA. One of the starters on this team trying to get going. Here comes Georgia Pavone as Canisius with 50 seconds on the shot clock looking for goal number 1 of this second half.
So far they're doing a good job circling the ball around. They're just taking too much time to find those looks inside. So got to ask what those attack cutters in the middle are doing to really work to get themselves open.
Point blank opportunity for Mariglod, goes wide left. 30 seconds to shoot for Canisius. Cummings looks for a pass, good defense from the Orange. That's Ella Simpkins' younger sister, Haley, providing the defense. Simpkins, the elder, is a starter. Now Haley has checked into the game. Doorstep, Smolensky has it knocked out of her stick. Ball goes in the back of the net, but whistle first. Another violation, another free position opportunity coming from the 8-meter for Canisius and Smolenski.
That's honestly one of those fouls you can't be upset about. She never got her feet planted, so you see Smolenski able to just sneak inside her, and she almost needs to make that goal-saving check.
Smolenski one-on-one with Van Middelum, and she bounces it in. Second goal of the day for Canisius, but they're still down by 14. Syracuse is dominating. Smolenski on the board for the goal.
She's focused, got a good mindset for coaching, and holds people accountable. Many reasons why Coach Gate thought hiring her would be the best choice.
And she was also just a really, really good lacrosse player when she was playing. A two-time All-American with the Florida Gators. Braylee Kempney goes back to the draw control circle with Alden Savage in an easy win for Kempney as the Orange go back on offense with the freshman Caitlin Mashevsky. She feeds to the junior Molly Carter. Syracuse up by 14. Running clock here with a 10-plus goal advantage. But a caused turnover picked up by Ilea Bagley, one of the leading defenders on this Canisius squad, although we haven't called her name a ton today. Sometimes that's good. It's almost like in the NFL. If you're not talking about a cornerback or a referee, it's probably a good thing, because if you are, it's usually a bad thing. She's played a great game.
Unless you're glorifying a player like Emily Harris-Chuck, whose name just doesn't stop getting mentioned.
Well, that happens when you score 7 goals, a career high. Not expecting to see her a ton here as this second half winds out with under 8 minutes to play. A lot of backups into the game for the Orange. Lauren and Kara Gray, couple of sisters, more sisters on this team for Syracuse. They both checked in defensively. Kara, number 34, is a sophomore. Lauren, number 33, is a junior. Smolenski, the only multi-goal scorer today for Canisius. She's got 2, including the most recent goal. Gets it on the doorstep inside for Malvaso, but she sails it wide left. That's the attack Miranda. She and her identical triplet sister Marissa both have goals today. Alden Savage sends it over the crossbar and backed up by the Orange.
Good crash there from the defense as a whole. They've just been swarming a player when they get anywhere near the crease, and that's what's been limiting the Golden Griffins from putting the ball in the back of the net.
First time we've really seen some trouble for Syracuse on the clear. Allie Simpkins cannot pick up the ball, and now Syracuse goes on the ride as the Golden Griffs try to clear for themselves. They do get it over the restraining line as Syracuse falls back into their defense. Been very effective today. They've only given up 14 shots and just 5 goals, with a large majority of those shots coming in the last couple of minutes. Grace Fahey looks to pick up a ground ball, does so, and goes off a quick restart for her goalie, Hannah Van Middelum.
And that's a miscue for Canisius. You don't want to see this late in the game. She had her player wide open, like wide open by Syracuse defensive standards, and even then, they couldn't execute to turn it into a goal.
Errant pass picked up by Kenzie Harris. Feeds it off for the freshman Chevry. Top recruit in the class. Feeds a former top recruit in her own right in Molly Carter. Riley Fusco looking for her first career goal. Her brother Austin was a star for the men's team as a long stick midfielder a couple of years ago. Here's the freshman Chevry. 4.5-star recruit. Looks for a pass, and it sails over the head of Kenzie Harris. Fight for it at the restraining line, and it will stay with Syracuse.
A clarification most people miss is that you are allowed to stick your stick over the 30-yard line to fight for a ground ball, just your body can't cross it. That's when you get called for offsides.
Sam Swart with 3 assists tries to start the offense. She's one of the starters, the few starters that's still on the field. And now Molly Carter draws a shooting space violation. Second time she's drawn one. Syracuse still unsuccessful on free positions today, trying to turn that mark around. Carter feeds Swart, bouncer good. Well, Sam Swart had a bunch of assists in the first half. Now she's got a goal, much more well-known for doing that. Syracuse goes back up 15.
And you see her excitement, but what I love the most out of this is Molly Carter and Sam Swart are actually best friends off the field. They both consistently post with each other on Instagram, spending all their time together, and they may even live together. Don't quote me on that one. But it's so fun then when you can carry that onto the field, feed each other to complete the goal, and put your team up by more.
32 goals a year ago, goal number 1 here in 2020 as the clock continues to roll with a 15-goal lead for the Orange. 8 different goal scorers tonight for Syracuse, a complete team effort. See Morgan Widener head back out to the draw control circle. It's been nothing but roses and rainbows at that spot. 22-4, the draw control advantage for the Orange. Trying to go 13-0, on their way to going 13-0 in season openers under Gary Gate, and on their way to going 7-0 all-time against the Golden Griffins. A rare loss off of a violation against Widener. And the Griffs go on offense with their star freshman Paige Stachura.
Mary Rahal back out there, and that looked like a clean ride to me, but they call that.
And now Miranda Malvaso puts it in the back of the net. That's what happens when there are triplets on the field. Sometimes you get the M's confused, but this one is Miranda, her second goal of the game.
Just a great turn. She actually had her back to the net when she caught it, and then it was just a quick over the shoulder and swing through. Too tough for Hannah Van Middelum to react to, and it almost felt like, JD, you were like what Coach Daly describes when she's out there coaching them, because Miranda and Marissa are identical, and that certainly adds to such a difficult situation, being able to sort out, as she mentioned, you know, you're giving a note to one, but you really mean the other, and it just happens when they're identicals within a triplet.
If their head coach gets confused, I think I'm allowed to get confused once. I think that's how the rule works.
I think it's valid.
Under 2.5 minutes to play. Syracuse on top by 14. Couple of goals from 2 of the Malvaso triplets. The other one, Tony, the non-identical triplet, plays defense, so not a ton of goal-scoring opportunities for her today. Miranda's got 2, and Marissa has 1. Morgan Widener attempts to win the draw control for Syracuse, and does after a little bit of a rough check from the Golden Griffins. Now Sam Swart seeing a little bit of time here as Gary Gates going to roll some of the starters back out there for the Orange. Sierra Cockrell also on the field along with Mary Rahal. Looks like he's going with backup attack, but first-line midfielders.
And that's probably just to keep the players fresh. I mean, you're playing against a different level of competition next week in Stony Brook. On Monday in Stony Brook, not even next week. And so you want to make sure that your starters are still ready to go.
Huge goal for Kenzie Harris. That's the first collegiate goal for the junior. She's been through a whole heck of a lot with injuries, hasn't played lacrosse in 3 years, and she picks up her first career goal in a Syracuse uniform.
A perfect flip play, and all she needs is just a little step. She waits until that perfect moment to turn and just apply full power, and she does it. And everyone's so excited for her, as that is her first collegiate goal.
You can just see the worry and the nervousness kind of wipe off her face. That's a big relief as she gets herself on the scoreboard. She was a dominant high school player. Coach Gate told us she has a ton of potential. Maybe she'll be this year's Morgan Alexander, a player that hasn't played in a long time, trying to get her legs underneath her. And she's off to a good start here against Canisius as we roll under 40 seconds to play here inside the Dome.
And the whole question with Kenzie Harris was, will her fitness and her attitude be there? And you know what? Since she stepped on the field, she has kept trying to go to goal, to score, to be there, and to show Coach like she's going to fight until the moment where she can put the ball in the back of the net, and she just did.
Syracuse tries to win one last draw control, but unlike it has been for most of the game, it's Canisius that comes away with it. But the ride is aggressive and effective for the Orange. Under 10 seconds to play, Canisius will go on offense, still out there with an aggressive ride. Golden Griffins do get it over the half-field line, but that will do it. We said that Syracuse needed to be dominant in game number 1 against a team that went 3-15 last year. Well, they did that. The number 4 team in the country over Canisius, 21-6, a great start.